I want you to try a little visualization exercise with me. Picture a Saturday morning. You're maybe a little groggy, you've got a coffee, and you're standing on a stranger's lawn. It's a yard sale.
Oh, I know this scene.
You're scanning tables piled high with, old T-shirts, scratched DVDs, maybe a blender from 1998, and then, tucked away in the back, you see a lamp. It's dusty. It's totally unremarkable, and it's got a piece of masking tape on it that says $5.
Right. Most of us, we see that lamp and we just see clutter, we see junk, we walk right past it.
But imagine if I told you that that specific $5 lamp wasn't just a piece of old decor. Imagine if picking up that dusty object was the first domino in a chain reaction that would lead to a multi-million-dollar business empire.
It sounds like an exaggeration, but it really isn't. We are talking about a massive shift in someone's life. Welcome to the One Decision Hub channel. I'm so excited to dig into this one because it hits on everything we care about here.
It really does.
We analyze those pivotal moments, those split-second choices, where an ordinary life suddenly veers off onto a completely extraordinary track.
And today, we are looking at the story of Jocelyn Elizabeth. And to give you a sense of the stakes here, we're talking about a woman who went from making, $14 an hour as a marketing admin.
Feeling completely stuck, by the way.
Feeling stuck, to generating 7 figures a year.
Yeah.
And the wildest part, she built this whole empire on top of other people's cast-offs.
What stands out to me in all our research is that the one decision isn't exactly what you might think it is. I mean, sure, buying the lamp was the spark. But the decision that actually changed her life was so much harder. It was the decision to leave the perceived safety of a corporate paycheck to bet everything on herself in a market that, let's be honest, most people just don't take seriously.
So let's get into the weeds. We need to go back to 2011. Set the scene for us. Where is Jocelyn at this point in her life?
Okay, so she's in Pantadia. She's a new mom, which is already a really stressful time for anyone. She's working part-time marketing administration. And look, $14 an hour, that is a grind.
It's a real grind.
Especially when you're trying to raise a family. You're trading your time for money. And frankly, there just isn't a lot of either to spare.
I think a lot of people can relate to that feeling. You're working, but you feel like you're just running in place.
It's that feeling of being capped. You look at your paycheck, you do the math, and you realize that even if you work twice as hard, the needle barely moves. That's a psychologically tough place to be.
Yeah.
You feel like your trajectory is set. The idea of entrepreneurship, that feels like something other people do.
Until her dad walks in. He's been out at a churchyard sale in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. And he brings home this lamp, $5. And from what I read, Jocelyn was not exactly thrilled about it.
No, she's probably looking at this thing like, great, more stuff to clean.
Exactly. But her dad insists. He says, no, look, I found this exact same lamp online. It's listing for $70.
Okay, pause there. This is the moment I really want to unpack. Because plenty of people hear it's worth $70 and they think, cool, and then they just put it in the living room.
Right, they don't start a business. Why was this so different for her?
Because for Jocelyn, this wasn't just a $65 profit. This was a proof of concept. In the startup world, we call this the MVP, the minimum viable product. That lamp proved that the local market was inefficient. There was value sitting on a table in a church parking lot that the seller didn't know about, but a buyer online was willing to pay for.
It's basically arbitrage.
It's knowledge arbitrage. That is a crucial distinction. The lamp didn't change. The lamp is the lamp. The difference is the information. The church didn't know what they had. The internet buyer did. And Jocelyn realized she could be the bridge between those two worlds.
And she didn't just nod and move on. She acted. That's the difference, right? The very next weekend, she packs up the baby into the stroller and she hits the pavement. She starts thrifting.
I love that image.
P2. Just a mom with a stroller, digging through shelves at Goodwill or yard sales, looking for that next score.
But we have to be careful not to make this sound like she just got lucky. She didn't just walk around guessing. She started studying. She treated it like a second education. She went to antique shows. She learned about glassware, mugs, collectibles.
How do you even learn that, though?
Yeah.
I mean, I walk into a Goodwill and I just see mugs. How do you know which mug is worth $50?
You have to look at the data. Successful resellers don't look at what people are asking for an item. They look at sold listings. You go on eBay, you filter by sold, and you see what people actually paid cash for. She must have spent hours doing this, learning maker's marks, learning textures. You can't spot value if you don't know what you're looking at.
So it wasn't magic. It was homework.
It was intense homework.
This brings me to a part of the timeline that I think gets glossed over in these overnight success stories.
Yeah.
The lamp happened in 2011. She didn't quit her job until late 2018. That's a 7-year gap.
That is the messy middle. And frankly, that's where most people quit. I mean, imagine the logistics here. You work a job, you come home, you have a kid. Then you have to source items, clean them, photograph them, list them, store them. Her house was just slowly filling up with inventory.
It sounds exhausting.
It is, and it's not just physical exhaustion, it's mental. You're dealing with shipping breakages, demanding buyers, the constant hunt. For years, she was just grinding out a second income, probably making a few hundred or a few thousand extra dollars. Nothing life-changing. Not yet.
But then, in April 2016, 5 years after the lamp incident, she makes a pivot. She's bored of sending marketing emails at her day job. She feels unfulfilled. So she decides to start filming her thrifting trips. She launches a YouTube channel.
And she picks a name that just leans right into the absurdity of it. Crazy Lamp Lady.
Which is brilliant branding, by the way. It just owns the niche immediately. But why does this change the math? Isn't she just adding more work to her plate by editing videos?
This is the moment she moves from a linear income model to a scalable one. Think about it. When you sell a mug on eBay, you sell it once. You pack it, ship it, it's gone. You get paid once.
Right.
But when you film yourself finding that mug and put it on YouTube, that video can earn ad revenue forever.
That's the flywheel effect.
Exactly. And even better, the video acts as marketing for the item she's selling. She's double dipping on the customer's attention. Most businesses have to pay for marketing. She was getting paid to do her marketing.
That is a massive shift. And there's this specific moment in the material that really illustrates this. She's driving, she checks her phone, and she sees her earnings for the day. She made $600 in ad revenue.
In a single day.
In one day.
Yes.
Not from selling antiques, just from people watching her find them.
And she had to pull the car over.
She's just sitting on the side of the road in shock. She says, what in the world is happening?
I mean, let's just do the math on that for a second. $600 a day, that's an annualized run rate of over $200,000. That is the moment the side hustle stops being cute and starts being a serious business enterprise. It shifts your whole identity. You stop thinking, I hope I make some extra cash for groceries, and you start thinking, this is a career.
Which leads us to the one decision, the big one. We're in late 2018 now. Her YouTube earnings are consistently beating her corporate salary. The math is screaming, quit your job. But be honest, it's not that easy, is it?
It never is. Leaving a W-2 job with benefits, a consistent paycheck that defines structure, it is terrifying. It goes against our survival instincts.
Yeah.
Jocelyn described it as definitely risky and scary. Even when the numbers make sense, the emotional leap is huge.
Sure.
You are stepping out of the boat and into the water. If you stop swimming, you drown.
But she did it. December 2018, she hands in her notice. She leaves the marketing world behind. And because she freed up those 40 hours a week, the scale-up was immediate.
Oh, it exploded.
Within 6 months, she's got 5 employees, people listing items, people packing boxes. She basically turned her home into a logistics hub.
That speed of scaling is what happens when you remove the bottleneck of, I have to go to my day job. But I want to inject a little reality here because it sounds like smooth sailing from there on out. It wasn't.
Right. The pandemic hits in 2020.
And ad rates just plummeted. Advertisers pulled back because, the world was ending. Her YouTube income took a massive hit. So she had to pivot back to leaning heavily on physical selling on eBay. And this exposed a huge vulnerability in her business.
She was building her castle on someone else's land.
We call this platform risk. eBay owned the platform. She was just a tenant. She was getting tired of the high fees, the changing policies, the lack of control.
Yeah.
If eBay decides to change the algorithm or raise the rent, which they do frequently, you are stuck. You have no recourse.
Which is a nightmare for any business owner. You're doing all the work, but someone else holds the keys. And that frustration is what set the stage for the next evolution. This is where the story goes from successful YouTuber to empire builder.
This is the part that genuinely impressed me. Fast forward to October 2023, a tech company called District reaches out to her. Now, usually when a platform reaches out to an influencer, they just want them to open a store.
Come sell your mugs with us.
Exactly. Come be a tenant on our land. But Jocelyn did something different.
She didn't just open a store. She launched NikNax.
And we need to be crystal clear about what NikNax is. It isn't just a place where Jocelyn sells her stuff. It is a marketplace where other sellers list their items. She invited her community, all those other thrifters and pickers who watch her videos, to sell on her platform.
She went from digging for gold to selling the shovels.
Even better, she's selling the land the gold miners are standing on. By creating NikNax, she diversified her revenue stream in a brilliant way. She takes a percentage of every single sale that happens on the platform.
The numbers here are actually staggering. I want to read these out to make sure I get them right. From January to October of 2025, just 10 months, NikNax brought in over $5.2 million in total revenue.
That is massive volume. I mean, that is thousands and thousands of transactions.
And she keeps about 5% of that. So just from other people selling things, she's pulled in roughly $260,000 personally. That's nearly passive compared to packing boxes yourself.
And she's still doing the YouTube channel.
Exactly. The YouTube channel brought in another $298,000 in ad revenue during that same period. So you have the platform income, the ad revenue, and she still sells her own finds on NikNax, although that's only about 5% of the total volume now.
Wow.
It's a three-legged stool of income: platform fees, ad revenue, and direct sales. Plus, she got 2 rental properties in Pennsylvania, around $300,000 each. One is an Airbnb, so now she has real estate income too.
This is a masterclass in wealth building. You take the active income, the hustle, and you funnel it into assets that pay you while you sleep.
However, I have to play the skeptic for a second here. Because we hear passive income and wealth building, and we picture someone sipping Mai Tais on a beach. But looking at the deep dive material, that is not her life at all.
Far from it.
She says she works anywhere from 50 to 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
Hold on. 100 hours a week? That's more than 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Did she really make it? Or did she just trade a 40-hour corporate cage for a 100-hour self-made cage? That sounds miserable to me.
That's a fair question. And it's the entrepreneur's paradox. You know, you work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 for someone else. But the difference is agency.
Yeah.
She chooses the 100 hours. No one is telling her when to take a lunch break. No one is telling her she can't pick up her kids.
But still, 100 hours. She's live streaming. She's managing disputes between buyers and sellers on NikNax. She says even when he's watching TV, she's listing items on her phone. It's fully integrated into her life. There's no off switch.
That's the cost of the empire. Running a marketplace is messy. It's not just tech, it's people management. She has to police rude comments. She has to deal with people claiming they didn't get their package so they can get a refund. When you are the face of the brand and Crazy Lamp Lady is literally the face on the screen, you take all the heat. It requires a very thick skin.
It seems like high risk, high reward, and very high effort. But despite all that stress, her core philosophy remains really optimistic. She keeps saying, anyone can do this. And I find myself asking, is that actually true? Can anyone do this?
I think her point is that the barrier to entry is incredibly low. You don't need a degree. You don't need venture capital. You don't need to know how to code. You need $5 in a thrift store.
Yeah.
You can walk into a Goodwill today, find an item for a few bucks, and if you have the knowledge, sell it for 50. That opportunity is democratic. It's open to everyone.
True. The door's unlocked?
However, the barrier to success, that's different. The barrier to success is the drive. It's the willingness to stand in a dusty aisle for 3 hours looking up prices on your phone while everyone else is at brunch.
Right.
It's the willingness to pack boxes at midnight. It's the willingness to put your face on camera and risk looking silly. That is the part that not everyone can do.
It reminds me of that stroller image from the beginning. Plenty of people saw that $5 lamp. Only her dad bought it. Plenty of people might buy the lamp, but only Jocelyn took her kid and went back the next weekend to find more. It's that constant decision to take the next step.
It's momentum. The one decision wasn't just quitting the job. It was 1,000 little decisions to keep going, to learn a new skill, to pivot when the market changed. That's what built the empire.
So let's wrap this up and just look at the big picture. We started with a frustrated marketing admin making $14 an hour. We ended with a CEO running a multi-million-dollar platform, owning real estate and employing a team. And the bridge between those two realities, it was seeing value where others saw junk.
And betting on herself, that's the critical piece. She could have stayed in that marketing job. It was safe, it was comfortable, but she decided that the risk of the unknown was better than the certainty of being unfulfilled.
And that is a powerful thought to leave you with. What is the $5 lamp in your life right now? What's the opportunity you're walking past because it looks a little dusty or requires a little bit of work? Maybe it's time to pick it up and see what it's worth.
I love that. It really makes you look at the world differently.
Thank you so much for watching this deep dive. If you enjoyed this story and you want to hear more about the pivotal choices that define success, please do us a huge favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to the One Decision Hub channel. It really helps us bring these stories to you.
And trust me, you won't want to miss the next one. we're tracking another incredible story of a split-second choice that led to a destiny no one could have predicted.
You won't want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.
Take care, everyone.